Hello, my name is Victor Lindgren and I'm the director of Kometen, the Comet. And it's about a Somalia guy that comes to Sweden, eventually comes to Sweden, and it's about his hellish voyage the whole way to make it.
وثانية سيكتبون الترانيم والتراتيل عني. نعم، بهذا سيعبرون عن امتنانهم لي.
Victor, welcome to the Berlinale. I'm glad you're here. You can join us for the interview. Your film Comet is a film about two refugees trying to make it to Sweden from Somalia, but only one can make it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the story? Why did you want to do that movie?
I came up with the story. I read a short story from an author called Melker Garay. Melker's story is about a comet. And his comet is, I think it's a religious or like a Jesus symbol. His comet that is coming to the world and with a lot of confidence and coming to the world to like praise them and with light and coming with like a huge impact. And I read the story and I thought I'd try to apply it on a refugee instead, like going for something, coming to something. And that was like, for me, that was his inner voice. So Melker's text about the comet was my refugee's like inner voice during this, when he's fleeing. And when that thing like clicked, it went really fast for me. I like wrote it down in like a couple of hours, and I thought the story was nice because it was simple as well, and very much of the film is his inner voice and contrasting with the images of this horrible trip, but his inner voice is very calm and like with a lot of confidence that he's the Comet and he's coming with something. So I think the contrast was the thing that clicked for me, and I like that. And why I wanted to do the story was like, I think it's a very important story, especially when I met Abdi and started working with Abdi Aziz, that is the actor in the movie, because his story is very similar to the story that I wrote. And when he wrote the script, he was like, "This is my story. What the fuck?" Okay. And that was, then it meant like very much for me starting working with it. And when I see how he's been treated, and I see how refugees are being treated in our Europe, and especially when you see how LGBT refugees are being treated, you know, then I really wanted to do this story, tell this story, and therefore I was so happy when it could, when it came into the Berlinale as well, because then I know that it will have a huge impact.
And how did you meet Abdi Aziz? Where did you guys...
We met at a club.
At a club?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I live in Umeå, so it's a pretty small place in Sweden, in the northern parts of Sweden, and we don't have that like clubs like in Berlin. Not at all. Okay. And so we went to a sports bar, and it was a dance floor on the sports bar, and he was like the only a bit flamboyant person, like having fun. All the guys were maybe dancing like this. Okay. So then we started to provoke them, like dancing flamboyant together. And then, I don't know, then we went to some after party. And then we started talking. And then it was like, I woke up the next day and was like, fuck, he's the Comet. Perfect. He is that guy. Oh, wow. That was like really strange how I found him. But it meant so much finding him, because he really is the story for me.
And how was it for him to do that movie with you? Were there memories coming back while doing that?
Yeah,
Did you talk
I
about
think so,
that?
because he cried when he read the script.
Okay.
And I guess it's when you had such a trauma, because his trip was like 9 months. Okay. 8 of them was in prison.
Okay.
And he sat in a little boat over the Mediterranean Sea, and I don't know. I think when you start to open those doors and really in your brain kind of, and really need to talk about it and feel with them, I guess it's very emotional and I think very tiring because he was like on set, he was sleeping.
Yeah.
We had a room, he slept, came out and did some scenes, and then he like slept again.
Oh man.
I think it was very emotional, but I don't know. He's like super duper strong, so I think for him it's not a biggie. But I hope it gave him something good as well, like dealing with that stuff and talking about it, and especially like sharing it.
Yeah.
And really thinking that his story means something to many people.
And did he talk to you about the situation for queer people in Somalia? Can you maybe that experiences he made or something?
I don't know. I don't want to talk that much about maybe more about his perspective on it than his like real life experience.
No, that.
But I think it's like super taboo, and it's not really talked about. And when it is talked about, it's very shameful. And often I think the families are rejecting them. The family structure, the thought about a clean family in that way. I think that is the thing that makes you very, I don't know what to say, like insecure in being a homosexual or LGBT person in I guess in Somalia.
Okay.
It's hard to answer like really that question. It's just my thoughts about it. Yeah.
Okay. Then I wanted to ask.
And of course,
yeah.
it's like illegal. It's like
of course.
like illegal to be. So you can get like death sentence.
Yeah.
Also, and therefore it's so weird. Like being in Sweden, being a refugee, really need and not being listened to, and not having like the thing that you're gay is not like in. It's not a circumstance in the Swedish system anymore. So the LGBT refugees are more and more marginalized in that way because they're under the same quote, the same amount of like every other refugees. It's not considered anymore like a certain certain thing to consider, which is very strange. Like that's the big thing that if he goes back, it's like his life that we're bowling around with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you won a Teddy in 2013 for your short film "UNDRESS ME." You remember that?
I remember that.
Maybe you can tell us, did it have an impact for your filmmaking career that you won a Teddy, or what does the Teddy mean to you personally?
Yeah, it had I think it had a huge impact. For me, that's like absolutely the biggest prize I've won, because it means something, that prize as well. I think the Teddy is political, and the Teddy is like very, very important prize. And that means that it stands for something, and it wants to raise like very important questions about civil rights and about like your rights of being who you want to be, and like having the right for your sexuality and the way to express yourself and everything. So I think the Teddy Award is super important, and for me by far it's the biggest prize in my career. So I was so happy when we won that, and afterwards I've been like realizing how big that prize was, and I've been very, very proud of that prize. So often when I've been bragging about myself, I always brag about the Teddy. Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, maybe you get the prize this year. You never know.
Yeah, hopefully.
Wish you good luck. Do you have any upcoming projects now, or
yes.
planning something?
Yeah, we have like we're doing a lot of stuff now, and it's very nice because I really like working, and when you're in the flow, you want to be there. So that makes me happy. And now we're doing a feature film called The Unpromised Land, but it's not really financed the whole way. So we have the material. We shot it this summer, but we don't have the money to edit it.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a very good situation and a very strange situation. So hopefully we can get some more money for that film, because it's a very important film as well. It deals with like the topic of also refugees, but it's more like migrants, like people coming to Sweden, to my little town where I'm born and raised in Holmsund, to work, but they're not really let into that to the society.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like the Comet, but it's more like focused on work and focused on the relationship with the people that they meet when they come to Holmsund. And also we're making a super queer film. It's about Nikita Rissanen, my friend, and she has done the transition from male to female, and it's her story, so it's kind of documentary, but not really, and she's like a super cool artist and author, so we're doing it together, and we're both directing, and we have done the script together, and she's more like super good at writing, and I'm more experienced in directing, so we're going to help each other there and work together all the way, me and Nikita. So that one is called Nikita Forever, and it's going to be like 45 minutes, so it's a very strange format, but there we have like the whole amount ready, so we got the budget there, so it's just going to get to shoot it, and then hopefully it can like premiere Berlinale next year or something. Yeah, and hopefully with the TED Award too, because I think that's a very important film in Teddy eyes. Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you very much for the interview, and good luck. And
thank you.
Yeah, have fun.
You too.
سيعبرون عن امتنانهم لي.
Hello, my name is Victor Lindgren, and I'm the director of Kometen, the Comet. And it's about a Somalia guy that eventually comes to Sweden, and it's about his hellish voyage the whole way to make it.
وثانية سيكتبون الترانيم والتراتيل عني. نعم بهذا.
Victor, welcome to the Berlinale. I'm glad you're here. You can join us for the interview. Your film Comet is a film about two refugees trying to make it to Sweden from Somalia, but only one can make it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the story? Why did you want to do that movie?
I came up with the story. I read a short story from an author called Melker Garay. Melker's story